By threes and nines, draw around his camp your 7 and 20 lines, the Seal of Solomon, in 3 dimensions. Billy Carson explains what Maxwell means by the Seal of Solomon in 3 dimensions.
The actual location of the henge and Avebury itself, if you take an ordnance map of the area, and you take a map of Cydonia from Mars, from the NASA.gov site, and then overlay them, it matches 100%. In other words, there's a circle anomaly like Stonehenge, there's another dome anomaly like the big mound over there in Avebury, and then so many kilometers up, there's another little dome, and then there's a pyramids, but it all matches up. They actually, if you can draw a straight line to every single one of them with these 20-degree angles, and it's like a perfect representation of Stonehenge on Mars, which is totally bizarre, obviously. In theory, every single planet, if you were to take a tetrahedron or a pyramid upside down, put it inside the planet, where the points of the actual tetrahedron would touch the planet, just on the outside of that, if you can imagine, there's always some type of planetary geological event, whether it's volcanic activity, whether it's fault lines. If you're looking at Saturn, you're going to see that great storm that's been going on for many, many years, and it's never stopped. It seems to be very voracious. So every planet that you look at seems to have these marking points where you can see the hyperdimensional physics has an effect on the geology of the actual planet or moon.
We were talking about the power of 6, which is the hexagram shape. That comes from the house of David. David's son is Solomon. Sol On, the sun god, personified in human form.
According to mainstream science, the speed of light is the fastest speed in our galaxy. But some radical theorists, like renowned author David Icke, believe that Saturn greatly influences space and time in our universe, and that we are all under its spell. How did this concept come to be? Sonia Grace describes her alternative research that showcases a vision of the energy forces in play at Stonehenge, and why she believes the word Sarsen could have originally meant non-human.
When I spirit traveled to Stonehenge, it was the middle of the day, and I looked around and looked at my guides and said, "What is this?" And they said, this is Stonehenge before Stonehenge. This is what it looked like. And they said, "We want to introduce you to one of the beings that helped create Stonehenge." And this magnificent being, who was very tall, was a Pleiadian, but I called them the Ancient Ones. And they said to me, "We have come to Earth at this time to help create a new phase of humanity here in this northern region. And we have taught the people their ceremonies, we've taught them their rituals, all the things that they learned, their medicine. We trained the high priestesses. 4,000 years of training and preparation, because this all started about 8,000 BC. And then around 4,000 BC, they placed the large sarsen stones. So the connection to Saturn was the reptilians also were here on Earth during this time. And they were very, very intent on gaining control of people and of the whole region. They did not like these Ancient Ones. They did not like their teachings. They didn't like what they were doing with humanity. And I learned that the reptilians were the ones who built a replica site on Saturn, trying to get through this portal to Pleiades. They simply built a replica to actually transport to where these Pleiadians came from. And if you think about how well protected our airports are, you know, you can't go through without going through TSA and getting scanned and all of that. It's kind of the same process if you're going to another planet. You can't just drop in and say, "Hey, I'm here, I use this portal." There has to be a real screening process. You had to have the code to get through that Stargate. The same was true at Stonehenge. And this alignment to Saturn, I feel, is more out of the battle that has gone on for millions of years between different extraterrestrial beings and these demigods. and the vying for power. That's always been a part of what's gone on here on Earth. And so the alignment to Saturn, I think it has everything to do with the war that was happening on another level between these Pleiadians and the reptilians.
If this